I am, of course, your host, Bison. Today, I am joined by, of course, the man from the void of his own mind, the Joker.
Brought the Bison with me into the void.
It was crazy. I have no idea what was going on there. All I could hear was myself, like the theme tune stopped, and then all of a sudden it started again, and like everything I was saying, I could hear again. It was really weird. It was like I was in a completely different dimension.
It's in a time warp.
I was in
Multiverse.
your void. I was in your void right at that moment. I was in your void. It was crazy, absolutely crazy. But anyway, we are back, and we're now working. So I do apologise, everybody, but it was going crazy for me, even if it was fine for you. Anyway, what have you been up to, buddy?
I've been not up to much really. I did manage to catch up with Explosion this morning, and I what caught up with Impact last night. I've been mostly just killing time on the PC. Otherwise, with Worms Armageddon, got that going. Get back into that classic.
Oh, right. So we're getting Worms Armageddon. Jeez,
Yes,
I've
absolutely.
never played that in my life, mate. I never even heard of it.
Well, so that's like 20 years old. It's about at least legendary. Best of the whole series. Then when they brought it onto the 3D ports, it didn't work as well. But 2D Worms just blowing each other to bits. It's hilarious.
Wow, there we go. I mean, this entire world that I've just never been a part of ever. I got no idea what on earth you're talking about. But I've never really. I was never really a gamer. Do you know what I mean? I enjoyed like having FIFA football tournaments with the lads, and stuff like that. And I played some of the wrestling games, but other than that, I never really got into all of these like Tour of Duty and I never got into any of that stuff. Never. I mean, nowadays it's Roadblocks and God knows what. I mean, good. What a load of rubbish that is. I'm like, if we want, I don't understand it because like back in the day, the graphics that you get on Roblox is pretty much like what we had. Well, we didn't have a choice but to have that kind of it's unbelievable.
Now it's a novelty.
Absolutely. But hey guys, I just want to say a quick hello to everyone in the chat. So we got Eric is in the house. Paul Matthewson is in the house. So it's good to see
Stand
Paul.
off if anyone else is there. Just let us know you're in.
Let us know you're in. Mir's normally here. Can't see Mir today.
Oh my God. He's not here to question with Limpster. We've been letting him cook for ages.
Oh my God. Maybe he's not joined us anymore because Limpster's not with us. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Could be. Chris Maycock's joined us. Hello, buddy. How are you? Thanks for joining us today. Anyway, I suppose we best crack on with.
We forgot we got a podcast. Everyone's just been going in and out of the void. So
just popping in and out of the void right now. That's what we're doing. But we're there. We're here. Right. Let's get on the news, rumors, and of course the Impact recap of the week. Mir is here. Good man. Nice to see you, buddy. There is such a thing as there being too much wrestling. Is there? No, I'm pretty sure not.
Hello, Alicia.
Hey, Alicia. Nice to see you, lovely. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. So we've got the inaugural TNA Slamming Softball Classic. Now, apparently this puts TNA stars on the field for charity softball. To us, is that Rounders softball? I don't know. But anyway, it's a charity softball game on Saturday, July 19th. The stars of TNA Wrestling unites on the softball field for inaugural TNA Slamming Softball Classic, challenging and coaching staff of the Maverick Belmore Little League Association in New York. The 7-inning game to benefit the Merrick Belmore Little League will be held on Saturday, July 19th at the Calhoun High School in Merrick. And after the game, many of the TNA stars will be participating in a meet and greet. Again, I love the fact that TNA do stuff like this. You don't hear a lot of the other promotions doing stuff like this. So I think this is really cool.
Yeah, this is so great.
I don't know too much about softball. To me, I think that's Rounders, to be honest.
Softball, it's like baseball, but big, more chilled. We used to play it in at secondary school, but only when we got to year 11, which was a bit of a pain in the ass because I was actually really good at it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was one of the few sports that I was actually pretty good at alongside basketball, ironically, and because I got epilepsy, I couldn't. My contact sport was difficult. Not that I couldn't take the tackles and that in rugby. It's just the teachers and that didn't want to risk anything. So and it just a pain in the ass. But I was good at things like basketball and softball. I really enjoyed it. It was probably a few things I enjoyed over the summer. And I hate cricket. Couldn't stand cricket at all. The uniform was bad enough as it was. But bloody summer, it was always in the summer as well. So you got a big bloody woolly jumper and padding and everything, and it's baking.
Wow. Yeah. Nobody likes any of that.
No.
Good Lord. I can't believe you played cricket at some point.
Yeah. Oh, I had to for PE. Not that I wanted to.
God, screw that. Not into that at all. But anyway, so they're doing that, and I think it's great. We've got the meet and greet afterwards, which is awesome. And do you know what? I'm gonna hit straight into that actually, because obviously they're all talking about the TV deal or whatever. But Carlos Silva has been on the media tour, and speaking of recent interviews, he stated that TNA are looking to go live every single week with Impact, which is fantastic, and based on their current product, looking for a £10 million plus deal, a year deal with a new TV network, and looking to get it pretty much done soon. Apparently negotiations are already in play, and there is a possibility a deal could be done by the end of this
Slammiversary or Victory Road at least.
I think it's pretty awesome. I think that's fantastic news. I saw a few things on the socials, as you do with the usual AEW naysayers. I mean, Carlos is stating that he thinks that they should be hitting the sort of 500,000-600,000 mark if they were to go live. I think he's right.
Yeah,
I think he's right.
They're definitely. They're running the numbers in at the events. They're going over 3,000 now at the events. 3,000. They're going 3,500 in some places. So.
I mean, you can't tell me when they go to these towns and they're filling like 2,500, 3,000 3.5 seater venues.
Yeah,
that none of these people are going to watch the show on a weekly basis, or they don't already. That's just ludicrous. And it's not like it's all the same people going to the shows.
No, it's not.
You know what I mean? If 1 minute you're in Canada and the next minute you're in Texas, it's not going to be the same crew, is it? Do you know what I mean? So I mean, I know that a lot of the faithful do travel around.
Lucky them.
Lucky
I'd love to go on the road. Just do one huge tour with TNA would be amazing.
I don't think, some of the hardcores. I don't think they're going to be able to do the whole live thing every week. I mean, it depends where it is. I mean, I don't know if they're talking about going static live or whether they're going touring. I don't know. I've always said I don't have an issue if they have like a 1,500, say 2,000 seater static venue that they did Impact every single week, but every now and again
tour.
They went off somewhere.
Like we did when they were in Florida in the Impact Zone there.
Exactly. It's got to be ways around it, or they kept the weekly impacts, at the same studio, at the same venue or whatever. Like they have been talking about going to the venue they went to. Full Sail. They've been talking about doing it at Full Sail, right?
Yeah.
So say they stayed there at Full Sail. They did Impact every week, but every single month they did the specials in a different venue around the nations, and then the big 4 pay-per-views they also did. I personally think the big 4 pay-per-views should be in different countries. Like for me, I think it'd be awesome to have like one in Mexico, one in Canada, one in the US, and one in the UK.
Yeah.
I think that would be absolutely incredible if they did that.
Try and get one back to Japan sometime too. See how that goes.
Well, there's no reason. Well, maybe. I mean, I suppose again, the amount of money things like that would cost, I don't know, but that's what I would do. I think that would be awesome if they did that. But who knows? As long as they do monthly specials somewhere. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, definitely. But we've also Slammiversary matches, of course, of talking about Slam. Obviously, Slammiversary matches are are so far looking really, really good. The card
Yeah.
looks really strong. We know we've got at least another 3 more matches to go, especially when you consider probably more than that, probably at least 5 maybe, because you've got the pre-show as well, haven't you? You've got the countdown
Definitely.
show to fill up as well, which for the big ones are an hour long, so you're going to get at least 3 matches. You're going to get at least 3 matches on the pre-show.
Steve Maclin needs an opponent at Slammiversary.
Of course. So at the moment, this is what we've got so far. We've got Tessa Blanchard versus Indi Hartwell. That should be
that's brilliant. That has been built up brilliantly.
That'll be a good one. Elegeance brand versus the Iinspiration for the tag titles.
Yeah,
that should be good. Especially based on the Iinspiration this past Impact, which we'll talk about later. I thought they did great. Cedric Alexander versus Mustafa Ali, a bit of a grudge match going on there.
Brilliant.
That should be amazing. We know that these guys faced off before, and from what I can gather, it was the most talked about WrestleMania match of that particular year, apparently. So that should be good. We've got the X Division title match, which is obviously Moose versus the UK's very own youngest in charge, Leon Slater. We've then got the 8-man tag title match, the Rascals versus the Menace.
Banger.
Versus the Hardys versus First Class. I mean, this card is stacked. Then we're talking about like the world KO Championship and the NXT title unification match.
Yeah.
Masha versus NXT Jacy, Jayne, or Jordynne Grace. Now this is the interesting one. I think it's this weekend. Jordynne faces Jacy for the NXT title. Could Jacy Jayne be just a holding place title winner? And are we going to get Masha versus Jordynne Grace at Slammiversary for a unification? If that happens,
I'm going to go mad if that happens. But I feel sorry for Jacy Jayne being basically some will say a paper champion, but like you said, a placeholder champion. But if Jordynne Grace wins this, and we get round 3 or 4 of Jordynne Grace versus Masha, but now from 2 different companies, that's going to be insane.
The crazy thing is here that if Jordynne wins, I would be very surprised if she lost at Slam.
Yeah, that's the other thing. If Jordynne Grace does win, is she going to then take the title from Masha and bring it back to NXT?
And that's the problem. I couldn't see Jordynne losing. I could see her then becoming the girl that unifies the 2 titles, and I really don't want to see that. But we'll see. I guess we're going to see.
Yeah.
7 matches, Norris. You're right. There's only 1 match left for the actual main card, but I think there's going to be at least another 2 or 3 for the pre-show.
Definitely.
I agree. It's probably going to be an international title match. You're right. Okay, so some crazy ass matches on the card so far. There really is. So we've got the KO one. That's gonna be insane. We've also then, of course, got the Trick Williams, Joe Hendry versus Mike Santana. However, I do expect TNA to open up another. Oh, I know what I was going to say as well. I was talking about ticket sales.
Yeah,
so ticket sales are starting to sell again over the last sort of couple of weeks. They've sold about another 1,000+ tickets. Many sections actually are also nearly sold out. Now, what I did notice though is that almost the entire second row from around the ring are still available. Now, is this row too expensive?
I'm wondering.
Is that what the problem is? Is that what the problem is there? Because I don't understand why they've sold like in most of around the ring sections, they're sold out. Like all the front rows gone, pretty much everything behind it's gone. There's very small amount of tickets available, but the entire second row, pretty much of the whole ring side, is completely empty.
Yeah, unless they've got it reserved for someone.
Crazy.
Yeah,
absolutely. Unless, like you say, it's reserved. But why would they reserve Well, it's not reserved because it's open to be bought.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It's not sold. They're there to be bought. If I wanted to buy one, I could buy one.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. It's weird.
So yeah, I was like, what the hell's that about? But anyway, either way, I think they're gonna break 5K. I honestly believe they're gonna break 5K. I think you'll find after Impact this Thursday they'll open up at least 2 more sections, and I'm pretty convinced we're gonna beat last year's attendance at Slammiversary by at least 1,000, if not 1,500. I was convinced we were going to break that all-time record. I'm not sure. No, I thought we would have been. I thought everything that they would have had already opened up would have been sold by now, and they would have been opened up sections before, way before now, but they're not. But they're still going to get a fantastic attendance, because if you think about it, anything over 5K, which is, I'm pretty sure they're going to do that, is a massive, is a big improvement on last year. So, and all they have to keep doing, and we talked about this a few weeks ago, is they just got to keep, improving year on year. It's the same, like, if I'm with my business, that's how we work it. We go month by year, if that makes sense. So, like, I could only go by last March, for instance, for as a target for this March, just gone. So if I've done 50 grand's worth of business in March, if I beat 50 grand's worth of business in the March just gone, then I'm doing all right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of the only thing you can really say. So if you look at kind of ticket sales in a similar vein, then you can pretty much say that they are going up. They're on the upward spiral, and slowly but surely they're selling more tickets. They're filling up bigger venues, and there's a possibility of more, better distribution deals and a possible network TV deal of like 10 million plus. I mean, it's impressive stuff. It is impressive stuff. Now, the other thing is as well is that I've noticed that WWE NXT have been proper promoting.
They've been really pushing TNA,
which I think is fantastic. It does really show what this is all about. It really does. Norris say better booking, better storylines will grab more people to get interest. I agree. There's no doubt about it. They're gaining momentum. Look, Ray saying that he watches Ray, SmackDown, NXT, TNA is much better than all 3 of the shows. There you go. TNA, NXT, TNA is much better than all those other 3 shows.
Yeah.
So there you go. I think so. I mean, I love Impact. I really do. So, I just want more and more people to watch it because it's great. It really is great, no doubt about it. Okay, so I saw that Rohit Raju has a shot at the International Championship on Sunday. I did see that. That's going to be good.
Cool. That's going to be amazing.
Yeah,
they've got great to see him again.
Yeah, but again, that's what it should be. It's an international title. We need international talent vying for the international championship. That's that. That's why.
It'd be great to see someone like Kushida come back for a bit, just to see him coming in again. That'd be cool.
I mean, that would be good. Kushida would be a great person.
Kushida and Maclin have that history with the world title as well.
Yeah, but there's loads of great international talent out there that are available to come in and do runs to an international championship match. There's loads.
We could bring Charles Crowley in, get him and Maclin together. They'll magic in the ring.
Yes, exactly. Now, Masha is scheduled to appear at NXT's Great American Bash at the weekend, so that should be interesting. I would imagine that's going to be. I would imagine that's going to be to sort of like, get involved at the end of the.
Yeah, Jordynne Grace will get in her face or something like that.
Something's going on. CAA is a major player in Hollywood. There you go. Okay, so has Matt Cardona signed with TNA? Especially now he has his own TNA merch available. you know, there's a question mark there, and he seems to be really pushing TNA at the moment. I don't know. Has he signed maybe like some sort of 6-month deal or something like he's done before? You know, to get a program going. But Sami Callan also has a new Death Cat shirt now available on TNA.
Yes, that's great. I love that shirt.
It's a cool shirt.
Yeah.
There's a couple of really cool shirts out there. Definitely worth looking at. Harley Hudson's got a new shirt now as well. Myla Grace's got a shirt. You know, I'm waiting for the new tag team name of Myla and Harley to come out.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get a T-shirt for that. But like she said on the show when I interviewed, she said they don't want to have a shit name. They're taking their time to come up with a really, really good name.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see. We'll see. Right, what else have we got? So let's talk about Explosion, Joe. Let's talk about Explosion. Hey, yes, we're live.
Yeah, we got the issue sorted, J-Bone, don't we? We're live.
Yeah, we're sorted. We're live. We got there. We got there in the end.
I did check YouTube as well for about 5 minutes ago just to make sure the stream was still going. And
we're definitely live. Thank God for that. People are talking to us, so I hope so.
Yeah, but all the link works and everything, and I'll probably I'll update it in all the posts I put out on social media just so everyone's got the link as well.
Yeah, good man. Good man. Anyway, Explosion kicks off with a look back at the 2023 World Title match between Alex Shelley and Nick, the National Boarfest eldest. To be fair, as much as I find Nick Aldis the most boring professional wrestler of all time, the dude can actually go.
He's a fantastic wrestler.
Yeah, this was a good match. It was a really, really good match. So it was good to see it again. It's good to see Alex Shelley, really. As much as I was like, I wasn't the biggest fan of his title run, but at the end of the day, there was some good matches came out with it.
Yeah, you got to see his brilliance if you've missed it before, and you got to see it in full with it. And when he went up against Chris Bay as well, that match really, really showed us how good he was as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely. Alex is definitely amazing talent. There's no doubt about that. And Nick, like I said, he's good in the ring, but he's just boring person with his monotone voice that just bores the shit out of you. But there you go. Casey Navarro went around the ring with Gia Miller.
Yes, they are so brilliant together.
That was a really good interview. I love the fact that he won that inaugural award, which I thought was really, really cool.
Yeah, Ben's got one too.
He was obviously very, he was chuffed with it as well, which is great. It's good to see. Then the main event came along, and it's someone we haven't seen for a very long time. We know that it's actually recently been released, of course. Jack Price was facing JDC, and after a pretty good showing from Jack Price, to be fair, I thought he was pretty good. But JDC of the System picks up the 1-2-3 to get the win. Pretty solid match, good sort of 18-20 minute match. I enjoyed it. Did you?
It was a bit too short for my liking. It was only like 6 minutes long, which is what can you do? It's an explosion match. But it was good to see Jack Price still. You know, I was a big fan of him when he was around on TNA, when he was being used. But I do wish he was put on the main roster a lot sooner, because he has so much potential that wasn't really shown.
I think so. I think it's a shame, really. He could have been good. He could have been good, but
yeah. Sammy's looking at the dogs next door, and the dogs across. Yeah, next door on both any side you can look out the window. And he's on cat watch too, and bird watch, and whatever else you can see outside the back garden.
Everything watch. He's on everything watch.
Yeah,
that's for sure. That's good.
He chases lights that reflect off of mirrors and things, or the phone if he sees it on the wall. It's like a cat with a laser pen.
Yeah.
But even if
after everything,
even if it's stuff nailed, he'll just be there banging his head off the wall trying to get where he thinks there's a light.
Fair enough.
She's cut up and sleep on the bed.
Cool. Okay, so let's crack on. We've got TNA next. Joe Hendry and Mike Santana join forces to tag team action against Tyson and Tyreek of the High Riz. Is it how you say that? High Riz or High Rise? I don't know. High Rise. Okay. Both the TNA talents had a great reception from the NXT crowd in attendance. Wesley will get involved at ringside, as always, allowing Tyson Tyreek to gain control of the matchup. After withstanding a vicious assault, Hendry broke free and made a tag to Santana. While Santana went on the offensive, TNA World Champion Trick Williams made his presence felt when he appeared at ringside and sent Hendry crashing into a steel ring steps. Meanwhile, Santana would pick up the victory for his team after taking out DuPont with a spin the block. After the bell, Trick blindsided Santana with a trick kick to stand tall alongside High Rise. I didn't see any of this. I sort of kind of watched a few highlights, but by all accounts, it got quite a good reception. So it sounds like it was a good match. Did you see any of this?
I only saw one of the highlights on Twitter, and that was Joe Hendry clearing the ropes in a really impressive dive. That was brilliant, faultless diving.
Fair.
But it's a match I'm probably going to have a go look for and check it out when I can.
Oh, mate, definitely. Hang on a second, mate. I just need to quickly check something.
Okay. Make sure we're still going or we're not gone back into the void.
Craig's just asked me, have you emailed him the links?
Oh, crap. No, I'm not.
You better do that. Right.
Yeah.
So basically, after all of that, let's just have a crack at the Impact recap of the week from last week. So we kicked off the night with the Iinspiration battling Tessa Blanchard and Victoria Crawford. Indi Hartwell joined Tom Hannafan and Matthew Raybolt on commentary. So we saw the Elegeance brand watching the match backstage. After what I thought was a pretty fun match. I mean, nothing kind of like stood out too much, but I thought it was a pretty fun match with especially with the Iinspiration looking strong, and they eventually picked up the victory over Tessa and Victoria. What were your thoughts on this opening match? I thought it was a good match to open the show.
It was a really, really good match. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought it was fun. It was a lot of fun. It certainly entertained me. Let's put it that way. I was certainly entertained. The entire match, I wasn't like, oh, I'm bored now. Do you know what I mean? I thought it was good. Look at Neil. What's he saying there? What's this? TNA World Title contract signing. Oh yeah, that's happening as well. That's true. Mirani, the NXT booking is too schoolish. TNA is more aggressive in Raw. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. Even though a lot of people don't. But there you go. Now, after the match, Blanchard and Hartwell brawl at ringside. That was pretty intense until security breaks it up. Hartwell lays out the challenge for the match between them at Slammiversary. I mean, it was setting up a match. Do you know what I mean? We got our match set up within 5 minutes. There you go. We're now at Slam. We had a little bit of the thing with that, obviously, last week and a bit the week before, and now we're kind of getting a match at Slammiversary. I think that ringside stuff, I thought that Tessa proper clocked Indi. Did you?
Yeah, she really went for it, but Tessa doesn't hold back, so
he flew across the floor.
Yeah.
Like, good Lord, that was intense.
I'm pretty sure you just said to her, go for it. So it's like Jordynne Grace was the same. She said to her, if you want to hit me, hit me. So and Masha was the same. Tessa's got the same sort of attitude. If I'm going to hit you, you're going to get hit. So I expect you to do the same to me.
Oh, totally. But we then find out that the Iinspiration will challenge the Elegeance brand for the Knockouts World Tag Team titles at Slammiversary. Also, official is the match between Tessa Blanchard and Indi Hartwell. So we then find out, obviously, like I said, so we've now got literally within about half an hour, we get 2 more matches officially set up, which was good. Good to see. We then get Cedric Alexander in the ring, tells Mustafa Ali that he is not here for hostility. Yeah, he is here to help. Ali turns him down, jealous of his past shortcomings over Alexander. Ali lays out the challenge for a rematch at Slammiversary, and Alexander accepts. Ali's attempts to deliver a cheap shot, but Alexander counters. The great hands provide an assist to Alexander as he takes out a member of Ali's security with the lumber check. Okay. I really enjoyed this section. But interestingly enough, like, I know, like, we've got a match set up for this week. Okay, so we've got. Is there a difference between Ali's security and Ali's secret service? Is it two different things?
I don't know. I think it's the same people who just given them a different name.
I don't know. I mean, obviously, because we've got a match this week coming up, which is basically Ali and his secret service.
Yeah.
Versus Cedric and the Great Hands. Now, I'm wondering whether he's got some sort of like group coming in.
Definitely.
Or will it turn out to be that other group is just coming from NXT? But we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, that'd be really cool if it was.
But I just feel like that we're getting somebody, or we're getting people coming in that isn't those people. There's somebody different.
Yeah.
But we'll have to, I guess, if you were there at tapings, you're going to know, but don't tell me. I want to find out on the show. But anyway, we then get Masha, Slamovich and Killer Kelly are chained together at the wrist as the Knockouts World title is on the line in their chain match. Now, after a pretty brutal match, Kelly gets caught with a snowplow for two. Slamovich then chokes her with the chain to win by submission. Now, this match was brutal.
Brilliant match. I loved it.
I think it was absolutely brutal, and I loved it. These two, they're an amazing tag team, and I wish MK Ultra would get back together. And I got a funny feeling we might see that happen.
Yeah,
at some point we might see that happen.
That chain will unite them one way or another.
Something's got to give. And can I just quickly welcome our resident DJ, of course, Limpster, Craig UK,
back from Holland,
back from superstardom.
Oh mate, honestly, it is good to be back. To be fair, I've just returned like Killer Kelly, but I'm not dressed the same, thankfully.
Oh man, fair enough. Next bite, you're probably right. Yeah, I saw those Tessa vids on YouTube. So you reckon the security's going to be the stagehands who set up the ring? Yeah, she did interview them. And a couple of them recently have had matches and stuff, haven't they? A couple of young, sort of unknown talents. No, it's great. That's good. I reckon that. I think you might be right. That's probably who it is. Anyway, getting back to this Masha and Killer Kelly, chain match. Yeah, it was lovely. It was a good match. What do you think, Craig?
Brilliant, mate. To be fair, brilliant. I thought, don't get me wrong, it was a bit slow. And I thought it could have been a bit more fast paced. But then they did want to focus on the weapon in the ring that they were joined together with, the chain, didn't they? And I thought they used it quite well, but I did think it could have been a little bit quicker, a little bit more on the pace. But then I think that we're gonna. What the hell, Norris? No, I'm not pregnant.
Thanks, Norris. He thought you'd been gone for 9 months, I think.
Mate, check you haven't banged your head recently. It's not been that long. I thought the match was good, but I think that we will get a much better match out of them two without the chain ratlock, because those two, both of them can absolutely go. But like you said just now, I do reckon that we could see a formation again of MK Ultra, especially with the Iinspiration and stuff like that coming in. We could do another Knockouts tag team. Yeah.
I mean, it's just crazy. I think, well, mind you say that, but I mean, we've got at least 4 or 5 now. I mean, I think the Knockouts tag division has never been as strong as this ever, as it is right now. So yeah, another one would be good, and a former, you know, a former 2-time tag champs as well in MK Ultra would be fantastic, absolutely fantastic. But after the match, Slamovich is jumped by Fatal Influence, led by NXT Women's Champion Jayne, Ying Lee, of course, the beautiful Ying Lee, and Zaya Brookside came to her aid. Right, you know, just at the right time. I love it. I love some of the stuff that they've got going on with the knockouts at the moment. I think it's awesome. What about you, Joe? I know you're a big knockout fan.
Oh, I'm looking. I'm a bit sidetracked to what we were talking about. Was still on that Kelly Masha Slamovich?
No, just talking about it in general, really. I mean, you obviously had the killer. You had the Jacy Jayne and they're called Fatal Influence. Is it? They
Go on, Joe. Which knockouts make you knock one out?
Well, Rosemary.
Oh, really? I don't know, but you're a dark one. You are. You're a dark horse. But hey,
Jello Kelly.
I'm not going to lie.
We know yours, Bryson. We know it's Ying Lee.
Oh my God, she's unbelievable. She is unbelievable. She is. Whew. Jesus Christ. Anyway, moving on swiftly. Now, after coming up short against the Hardys last week, Judas Icarus and Travis Williams are willing to do whatever it takes to prove to Eric Young that they belong in the Northern Armory. Eric is definitely slipping very swiftly into the Maniac, isn't he?
Yeah, Eric Young's completely lost it. I felt sorry for Icarus and Williams. They were like, "Fuck me."
What is this? Yeah. I think it's cool though. I think it's exactly what we need. Yeah, I think that's the Eric Young we need.
Yeah, that was the Eric Young. I can remember when I started watching TNA. He was trying to end Jeff Hardy's career because Jeff Hardy was constantly beating him, and he was power driving Jeff Hardy onto the apron constantly.
Mate, when I first started watching TNA, he had this like spiky bleached blonde hair, and he was scared of his own entrance music.
Yeah,
the pyro used to go off, and he used to shit himself and stuff like that. He'd hide under the ring and stuff. The thing is like I say that like it's a bad thing. What I'm saying is Eric Young is such a complex character. He's so good at all, like, you know, whether he's heel, whether he's face, or anything like that. And like, you know, when he had that snap at, when he had that pop at Vince McMahon, he said, like, you know, you got a 3-hour show and you don't know how to use Eric Young, then you know what you're doing with yourself. He was absolutely right. Yeah. I'm so glad he's back in TNA. I'm, you know, obviously I was gutted he went and stuff like that, but you know, for them not to use him properly, same as James Storm, they didn't use him properly. Now we've got Eric Young back. Yeah, exactly. There's many like Rockstar Spud. Like, you know, I think like with Eric Young, the way that he's evolving now and going back towards those kind of psycho elements, I just honestly I can't wait. I feel bad for the TNA roster.
Well, they've got good people. I mean, not being funny, but like next bike has got it one. Icarus is insane. Yeah, he is just as crazy, and he has been for a while. You know, the way that he looks, he does all that kind of like, you know, that weird shit, and just sort of stares at you and shit. He's nutter as well. So I think we've got a seriously like some kind of insane like. Are we heading towards you know?
We're getting an asylum back.
I think what we're getting a version of Sanity called Insanity.
Yeah, something like that
would be cool. Insanity. I like it.
Icarus is the one with the hair and the beard, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think that they should do a storyline where Icarus is actually Mance Warner's son.
Really? Why?
They look alike from a distance if you squint and turn the lights off. Yeah.
If you squint and turn your lights off, they look a bit similar. Well, I guess. Fair enough. Anyway, Mike Santana vows to bring the TNA World Championship back home at Slammiversary. You know, I mean, that's what everybody wants to happen, isn't it? But whether it will is another matter.
You know what's happening? They've just started the King's Speech. You know that Kaz has started in on it and stuff like that. I reckon that either Kaz will cost Santana the title, or Kaz is the next champion.
I bloody hope not. That would piss me
That-
right off.
This is the thing, though. I genuinely think that this is Kaz is kind of like, look, I'm coming towards the ass end of my career,
Yeah.
which he isn't. Like, it's a bad thing to say. He can still go with the best of them. Do you know what I mean? But like,
Yeah.
I would say that now is kind of his time because like the shit they're giving him and stuff like that. It's not as big as Santana's, and Santana is in New York at the pay-per-view. Do you know what I mean? So it does kind of, it just looks a bit too predictable.
Yeah.
Hendry
I agree.
getting the title
That
back
would
would
be
be a
more of
bit
a
too
Scott.
cheesy.
That'd be a bit more of a Scott D'Amore thing.
Yeah, but I think like Hendry getting the title back would be too cheesy unless he's going to get it and then jump onto SmackDown or Raw and then put it up for challenge or something like that. I doubt that will happen. But then Santana's the sweetheart to win it. But next book says champ Santana for champ will be Riot. I mean, yeah, I'd love for Santana to win it, but I don't think he does. I really don't think he does.
I don't either. I think Trick's going to retain. I'm not being funny. I think Trick's going to retain. And
has he been a good champion though? Do you reckon?
I think so. I think he's been all right. I quite liked it. I've liked this run so far, and I like the way it sort of it moves over the. It's got that kind of like lingering thing that he's not a TNA talent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I quite like it. But
I agree.
I don't know. I think Santana.
Joe will turn on Santana. I reckon that will happen.
Maybe, and then we'll get a Joe and Santana thing going on. Santana will beat Joe, and then we'll get Santana versus Trick Williams at Bound for Glory, and that's when he's going to win.
It's going to be interesting.
He's got to be 1-on-1. He's got to win it 1-on-1.
Yeah.
I do think though, like it started so sour with like Trick Williams winning, not appearing on the next show, just a vignette, and that was one of the worst TNAs that we've had since TNA became TNA again. It was just a stocking filler episode, in my opinion. They had a wicked match. I think was the last match of it. I think was Maclin versus Eric Young, the last one where it's going to be really bloody or something. But the rest of that TNA episode, I just thought was way below par. And you've just crowned a new champion. He's not on your show.
Yeah,
I'm like, look, that really, well, you can tell. It still pisses me off now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do think that like the sweetheart would be Santana. Hendry's kind of like a kayfabe favorite. Trick, I'm with you. I do think Trick should retain, but mate, you've got to watch Kaz. You watch him be special guest referee.
Maybe, but Kaz is not winning. I'm telling you. If TNA want to sell tickets, then they're definitely not going to put the title on Kaz. I'll tell you that now. Okay, now I'm caught. Now there's people in there saying like talking about Joe going heel and obviously turning on Santana. Well, actually, if you've never seen a heel version of Joe Hendry, you're in for a treat because he needs to go heel. He is so good as a heel. In fact, he's better as a heel than he is as a babyface.
You thought the promos he does as a face are funny. Some of the stuff he does as heel will have you in hysterics. They're so brilliantly nasty. They make you laugh so much.
They are great.
He really does
good heel.
Rip into everyone like he did with AJ Francis, but a lot more darker and really. It's going to be so good.
I can tell you now, if they turn him full heel, everyone will. All the people that are like, "Oh, Joe Hendry, he's suck. He's a meme. He's not." They will completely change their mind because he is so good as a heel. So I want to see Joe Hendry go heel on Santana at Slammiversary. Then we're going to get some kind of like Santana Joe thing leading up to Bound for Glory. Santana, Trick Williams, 1-on-1. Santana 1, 2, 3.
Kaz wins to call a shot and calls a shot and wins the title.
Yeah.
Maybe. But anyway,
he doesn't make
Kaz
the
is
same
the
mistake he
next
did.
champ.
He doesn't make the same mistake he did last year, basically.
Yeah.
You never know. Right, now after a pretty good matchup, Alicia gives Eddie Edwards the system ring, but Brian Myers tries to persuade him not to use it against Cardona. And Cardona then turns the tide, pinning Eddie out of nowhere to win. Where does this leave Brian Myers and the system?
Yeah, Brian Myers has got another once again. Trying to not get Cardona hurt, which is just not what the system's about, you know.
I'm telling you,
it's going to blow up by Slammiversary.
Myers is leaving the system.
We're going to get Eddie versus Myers at Slammiversary, or Eddie and someone else versus Eddie and JDC versus Cardona and Myers at Slammiversary.
The players are back.
Yeah,
I think the major players are back, and I think this is why Matt Cardona is here. Yeah. They're going to put Myers and Cardona together to recreate the major players. They had them before, but it never lasted because Cardona buggered off again. So there was
a hell of a match against the Nemeths, though.
Yeah,
it would. From what I've heard, originally when they brought the major players in, that was actually supposed to last for 6 months. Yeah, the major player run.
But I think Cardona got injured. I think
something happened. It only lasted about 2 matches.
Yeah, he tore his pectoral muscle when he was on the shelf for a while.
So I'm wondering whether this is the second opportunity to get the major players together.
Yeah.
And give them a run.
It's a great way to break the system down too.
Yeah, possibly. Possibly. I mean, they might get rid of Myers and bring someone else in. You know what I mean? You just never know. But it could be interesting. But anyway, after the match, NXT's Dark State arrives in TNA Wrestling as they decimate Matt Cardona with a brutal 4-on-1 beatdown. Now, I don't know anything about this group whatsoever, right? So I am going to basically not listen to others that are naysaying about them a little bit, like who the fuck, these are shit. They were crap on NXT. Why bring them onto Impact? Why bring TNA or that sort of crap? But I've just got a feeling that we're good at using groups like this. I think it's going to work. I think they might work. So I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. And see where it goes. They give me I was going to say Sons of Anarchy. Then I don't mean Sons of Anarchy. Bully
Aces and Eights.
Aces and Eights. They give me Aces and Eights vibes. And I love Aces and Eights.
I mean, I definitely think that they're going to be to do with Cedric Alexander.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you think
I reckon that they're going to go up against Order 4 because, there's no way that Cedric's come in alone because the Order 4 group, the fact they've got merch out and stuff like that, it'll regroup, something will happen and stuff like that. I do think that Mustafa's probably going to end up going on a bit of a break, but then I agree with you. I do think that if Cedric's the leader, then he would be Bully, if you will, and the other guys are going to act like Aces and Eights, but the fact that there wasn't much for build-up, it was just boom, we're here and we've attacked Matt Cardona.
Yeah,
anything could happen. Norris has said there, Dark State versus the system. They've gone after Cardona. Myers is probably going to try and convince them to help Cardona, or maybe Myers helps Cardona himself against them. It's all. This is the joy of it. It's not predictable anymore.
Yeah,
so many different things could happen, but it's trying to figure out why we've got more WWE talent coming in and who's going to do it. Unless the lights go out and Cena's in the ring and he says that he wants to take it over.
Yeah, so we've got Cena versus Joe Hendry.
I mean, I don't know if that's going to happen. Yeah, we all love it too, but I don't see it happening.
I can't see it either. I don't.
It would have been nicer if he sat on the turnbuckle and said, "Hi, Matt Cardona. Hi, Joe Hendry." That would have been brilliant, but he didn't because he put the other three guys out. Well, I'm guessing he was their last match before they got booted out of WWE. So, but as much as we would like that match, is John really going to do that? I don't know, because that is the star rub, and for him to give the star rub to someone who isn't in the same company as him, is he going to do it?
Exactly. Yeah. I guess we're just going to have to wait and see, aren't we? We are. We're just going to have to wait and see. Now, Sami Callihan comes to the aid of the hometown man after he was attacked and unmasked backstage.
Horrible attack.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. You can't treat the hometown man like that.
No,
I was
it's
going to say, for
terrible.
someone who's just coming into the company and stuff like that, and someone from like Philadelphia, to be treated that way, it's just so disrespectful. I feel bad for him.
It's awful, absolutely awful. And,
Even
and
the dog thinks it's mean.
I for one think that I think they should be disciplined for that kind of
Absolutely.
behaviour. They should.
Yeah.
They should be disciplined.
Santana got disciplined for less. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Where is our
Yeah.
director?
Santino, where are you, mate?
Where are you, mate?
Hang on. Have you seen Santino and Hometown Man on screen at the same time?
No.
That could be who Hometown Man is.
Yeah. Everyone thinks it's Cody Dean, but I know it could be Santino.
Yeah, he got sacked. He left, didn't he? He's
gone.
Cody's gone, mate.
Yeah. It's could be Santino.
He's gone. It's definitely got. It could be somebody, but it's not. It's not Cody Deaner. That's for
might
sure.
be Mark Henry.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Kurt Hawkins.
It could be.
Yeah. Maybe he's going to get signed. Anyway, it's been announced that at Slammiversary, the reigning TNA Knockouts World Champion Masha Slamovich will battle the NXT Women's Champion, either Jacy, Jayne, or Jordynne Grace, for both titles in a historic winner takes all title versus title match. Now, obviously, we talked about this briefly earlier, but I don't think you were with us, Craig. So we'll talk about it again.
Okay.
So there's no way I'm going to be absolutely gobsmacked if Jordynne Grace wins this weekend the title to then go and face Masha, because if that happens, I would be really surprised if Jordynne loses at Slammiversary to Jordynne Grace. However,
Jordynne Grace, you mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Impossible.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I can see Masha beating Jacy Jayne to unify the two titles and become champ, and that would be cool.
With the latter of what you said, I would agree with that. I think that would be better, especially for our star and especially for Masha. Like, not being funny as well. What you've said there, if we go back like a couple months, her link and her like fanboyism, if you will, for the Hardys. Matt Hardy's got like, many friends in the WWE and stuff like that. Maybe he's kind of orchestrated something. That with the latter of what you said, I fully agree. I think that she could become the champ. But
yeah,
I just, in my own mind, I would love to see Slamovich versus Jacy Jayne. We've seen Slamovich versus Jordynne Grace, and as much as there are TNA fans out there, Jordynne's done everything she can in TNA. Like, her last couple of months, putting her in like a triple tag team match with like PCO and Steph DeLandre and all that. It was just using her for the end of her contract. It's kind of that point where I thought she's definitely gone.
Yeah.
And with the way that she was written out of the company, thrown down a ramp and slammed the door by Tessa Blanchard, it was kind of, that's just like, yeah. So how does she burst back onto the scene and have a match with Masha without Tessa coming and doing something about it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is why I agree with what you say there. But I genuinely, I would look forward more to a Masha Slamovich versus Jacy Jayne, Masha winning that match, and then going on to NXT and challenging Jordynne Grace to become the champ, something like that.
Yeah.
I think that would be better.
Yeah,
but,
I agree.
What would I know? We're just wrestling fans.
No, anyway, Ray is just saying that it says Cody Deaner on Wikipedia, he is the hometown man. Well, we all know that anyone can write a Wikipedia. So
yeah.
Wikipedia
is like 70% accurate.
It's not accurate, I'm afraid. And
if you have a look at who Wikipedia is, it's Curryman.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm not being funny, but I'm more inclined to believe it's Kevin Nash, to be honest, over Cody Deaner. I mean, look at the size. He's got the size, hasn't he? He's got the size.
Yeah, big sexy hometown man.
Exactly. Leon Slater profiles his upbringing in professional wrestling as he prepares to challenge Moose for the X Division Championship at Slammiversary. That was quite a nice vignette. Do you think?
That was brilliant.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Yeah, I loved it, and I think it really he's definitely over. Like, the crowd, I think the fan base love him. Absolutely love it.
Yeah. I loved his impression of Moose.
Yeah, so did I. I thought that was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. He does a few impressions actually of wrestlers. I've heard him do a couple. So
Right.
I hope he does a few others at some point. Yeah, that's Paul, you're right. See, that's exactly my worry. If Jordynne wins that title, then I think we'll lose the Knockouts title to an NXT signed talent again, and that bothers me. I think, you know, based on people's feelings initially with regards to Trick Williams, with, you know, uncontracted talent, etc., holding our world title, we need to get an NXT title. I'm pretty convinced of that. Oh dear,
Yeah.
where's our producer gone? Hopefully he'll be back
He's
soon.
taking the dog out.
Oh, is he? He told you that?
Yeah, he's just put in the chat. Down the bottom,
fair
bottom
enough.
left-hand corner.
I didn't see that. Anyway, TNA Wrestling Champion Steve Maclin joins Tom Hannafan and Matthew Raybell on commentary for this Jake Something Mance Warner matchup. As you would expect, it's a pretty brutal match. But at ringside, Jake is targeting Warner, but inadvertently strikes Maclin. Maclin retaliates with an assault on both men, bringing the match to an abrupt halt, and of course, a no contest result. I mean, they're obviously building something for this week, which is cool. And I'm sure
Great to see Jake back though.
Oh, mate, and he's looking really good. But we had this conversation last week, Craig. You weren't around, but we had this conversation last week, and I'm telling you, I want to see this Jake Something doesn't work. I don't. Nobody gets it. It doesn't work, right? It's not. It's. I remember having a conversation with Trent about this, like about 2 years ago. He said like the Jake Something thing works really well at AAW. It works well on the Indies because it's not something which is going on like on an ongoing basis, right? On TV, it doesn't translate as well, and I don't think it works. So, for me,
I do and I don't agree.
Okay, but for me, I think that the one thing TNA lacks, right, is an abyss, is a PCO, and I know you don't, and I don't mean PCO as in
left hits out
guy. I mean as in that kind of monster character. We don't have a monster character. We don't have a Kane. We don't have an Undertaker. We don't have an Abyss.
Yeah.
We don't have that at the moment. And to me, Jake Something has that shit written all over him. Jake Something, stick a mask, one of them like scary ass masks on Jake Something, fucking brand him as a monster, as a beast that people are scared of.
Make him Relic 2.0.
Well, you know, whatever. But turn him into a beast. He's got the body. Turn him into a big fucking bad guy.
I mean, the thing that like I would propose, like obviously I get the thing is with Jake Something, like you know when you said to Trent and stuff. I've watched a lot of Whoa, be careful.
AAW.
That's the one. AAW. I've watched a lot of that, and like you know when he was in Wrestling Without the E, with like Eddie Kingston and David Starr and stuff like that, they were brilliant, absolutely brilliant, and like the crowd were on it. You know, what's my name? Something like that. With TNA, they don't really put it over as much.
Yeah.
Whereas like I imagine this, just Jake Something has a match, but the I Quit match, but what he's got to do is batter his opponent and they've got to say something. So he grabs the mic and says, "What's my name?" And they've got to say something rather than I quit. That I think would boost the fact that he's called Jake and people say something. But when you put him in like Philadelphia after 15 years or something like that, dare I say it, some people in that crowd may not know who he is. We all know who he is. We love him. We've had him on the show. Do you know what I mean? I think he's an absolutely phenomenal wrestler. But I get your kind of like, you know, your pitch for him to be a monster. Can you see him kind of being like a new sort of Decay thing and hanging around with Rosemary? I'm not sure I can.
No. I don't mean like that. I don't mean that kind of. because to me, like the as much as I love Rosemary and I love that whole decay, I love decay. I love the.
It's been done.
I love it.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
But that to me is more comic book style. I'm not talking
Okay.
about comic book style. I'm talking about like even PCO is kind of comic book style horror character.
Yeah.
I don't mean that. I mean more of a Kane, more of a like you know,
someone who's really going to put the shit up you.
Yeah, an Abyss type character. Like if you know, like when they do that whole and your opponent is going to be Abyss, and like the person in the ring is like, oh my god, no, you know what I mean? Like, you know, that could be Jake. He could be that kind of character.
Yeah.
That, you know, but I don't know. I just don't feel that this character he is right now is working. Maybe you're right.
The joy
maybe
of it, though, is we give all the wrestlers their creative control, don't we? So I guess Jake right now is doing what Jake wants to do. So, like, if we did have like a creative meeting within TNA and they pitched that, it's whether or not he takes it. But like, you know, I think that with AAW, seeing Jake Something against Josh Alexander was insane. Like, you know, their feud and stuff like that was insane because that was two big guys wrestling and, you know, showing their traits, you know. Whereas with Jake Something in TNA, I don't even think we're getting that at the minute. We're getting someone who kind of, well, I know he's been injured now, but we're getting someone who kind of comes in and out, in and out. We need a solid run. And like you say, if he was becoming this monster, then we need people attacked. We need people injured. We need like Bioflex to be like, you know, this week Jake Something's done this to people. Do you know what I mean? Like, I do see what you mean. We should have like an evolution of his character where he's just going to turn into a.
He's just destroying everybody. Basically.
Yeah, we need him to go from Jake Something into Bruiser Brody. That's what we need. That's what we need. You know, he's got the look about him. You know what I mean? He's got that kind of look.
Yeah.
So if we're going to keep the Jake Something thing, maybe that's what we need to do. I like that. Norris Sparks has got it down there. Look, hometown man accidentally burns Jake Something at home back at the at the yard. Yeah, I don't know, maybe. Anyway, a brawl breaks out at ringside before it can break up. Oh yeah, so the brawl breaks out ringside before Maclin's win. So that all goes down. We sort of kind of lost all of that. With Trey Miguel unable to compete due to a hernia injury, Zachary Wentz will take his place against Nick Nemeth tonight, with Myron Reed accompany him to ringside. I like the comment. I think it was Matt Raywalt said, "For God's sake!" So like, how many of these damn rascals are there?
Yeah.
You know, it was great to see Myron Reed back actually, because I'm a massive Myron Reed fan. Now we all know that obviously
everyone's calling for him to be signed. Now he's back again. I want to see him signed.
We know that obviously he's with Killer Kelly. They've got child together, etc. He's obviously going to be around at tapings. Whether that was just an opportunity, Oh, Trey's injured. We need someone to back up Trey. You know, oh, well, Myron, you're here. You know, fancy doing a walkout. You know, and you're right. It would be cool for them to sign Myron. I think it would be amazing to have a 3-man Rascals again.
Yeah.
You know, and again, as a tag team, you know, maybe that's what they need.
He's one of the original Rascals too, so it just makes it even.
Maybe
more.
That's what the Rascals need. They just need that little extra insurance policy in the corner to win those tag titles. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. Anyway, Nick Nemeth eventually defeats Zach Wentz in another great matchup between these two guys, because we've seen them at the start of Nick Nemeth's reign. At the start of Nick Nemeth's joined the company, we saw them to go at it, and it was a great match, really good match. I enjoyed it a lot. Did you? I mean, what were your thoughts on this one, Joe?
It was amazing. It was really hard to keep track of the match. It was so fast paced, but it was incredible. I loved it. It's when they faced off against each other the first time, and when Nick Nemeth joined, I knew that was going to be special. But this was just amazing. This is just another level from that. And that match was amazing.
Good stuff. Did you? What about you, Craig? Did you enjoy it?
I mean, yes, but I didn't like the ending. I didn't like the ending. I thought like there was a lot of spots and stuff like that, but I thought it was a very very like comic book pin at the end, and I genuinely like as much as like I love the Rascals, I think like a really strong Wentz run again, albeit like maybe with a belt, but like I personally I would like to see Wentz versus like Maclin or something like that for the international championship, or whoever wins it next. Give Wentz like a little run with it, like even if it's just a couple months. But he is a phenomenal talent, and like the Josh Barnett's Bloodsport with GCW. If you've ever got time to go and check Wentz just doing his MMA stuff, you will see he is like he's insane. He's absolutely insane, totally underrated. And I hope that if like Trey is injured and like Myron can't make it, then just give Zach his chance, because he's a good dude, and like I think he deserves his flowers already.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's amazing. I love Zach Rance, and I was gutted when he went, but he's fantastic. Now, from what I've heard, I think Trey's out for a while. I don't think he'll be at Slammiversary. I think Myron will end up taking his spot. I have a funny.
Get him in the treehouse. Get RVD to have a little chat with him.
RVD will be like the gun of the treehouse.
That's what I've heard. I've heard that Trey's actually gone in and had an operation.
Yeah,
I've actually heard that the treehouse is actually based in RVD's ponytail.
Is that right? Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. That wouldn't surprise me at all. Anyway, now it's the debut edition of the King's Speech with Frankie Kazarian as he welcomes his guests, the competitors in the TNA World Championship match at Slammiversary. Trick Williams, Joe Hendry, and Mike Santana. Kazarian's sides with. This is interesting. Kazarian sides with Trick as all four men trade bants. Kazarian provides a distraction while Trick attacks Hendry and Santana from behind. Trick and Kazarian. Kazarian stands tall as Impact goes off the air. Now, I don't know. I mean, we have this discussion nearly every single week. My thoughts on Frankie Kazarian, right? I am a fan of Frankie Kazarian. I do. He's a legend of TNA. I've got all the time in the world for him. He's doing a fantastic job in kind of like laying seeds and being just a little thorn in the side of anybody who's going for that world title or whatever. But he is not a world champion. Not at almost 50 years old, he is not a world champion. And the way I see it is that if he was ever going to win it, it would have been when he was in his prime, and not now. He's not in his prime now. And although he looks fantastic and he still performs to a high standard, he is not going to put bums in seats. He's not going to sell tickets. So I just can't see it happening. I just cannot see.
I'd love to see it, because I think it'd be a fucking nuisance.
I think you want to see it because you're nostalgic for him.
No. It's not that. It's present day. Like you look at him like a couple months ago coming out as Joe Hendry.
Yeah.
You look at him like of how verbally abusive he was towards us fans in Coventry. He is just an all-round guy, and I think like having him turn up on NXT, walking out with a TNA belt, that lot, and just telling them all to shut the fuck up and listen to him because he's the king of TNA, and then having someone come and silence him, that lot, that would produce entertainment and stuff like that. He doesn't miss his spots. He pushes other people. He's got everything. He really has. So it's one of these things where if he got the belt, even if it's for a short time, just let the king finally have his crown.
Yeah.
And then move it on. But when they move it on, I don't know who they would move it on to.
Santana will probably win it.
Yeah, see, I think that would almost bury the title.
Yeah.
So I think if Kaz won it and then Santana got it, it kind of takes the shine off it. So I think if Kaz won it, then get someone from NXT challenging for it, whatever. Kaz retains. then Hendry gets it back, then it raises the level of it again. Do you know what I mean? Then we get a really pissed off Santana.
Yeah.
And then it just gets
bound
better
for
and better.
glory. Or
Yeah, I've just basically fired out like a possible 6 month timeline there.
Yeah.
But I've got my reasons for like Kaz winning the title. But I do agree, like, you know, it may not put like bums and seats in that. Maybe a little bit of nostalgia, but at the same time, I do think that they would miss a trick if they don't give him the title.
Okay, it's a good pitch. I'm not buying it.
I agree to disagree.
Joe, Joe, what about you, mate? You got a pitch?
Craig said what I was thinking a lot more clearly and a lot more better than I could put it. To be honest, my first time seeing Kazarian was actually when he went to AEW, so I don't have I don't have a nostalgia feeling for Frankie.
What
Kazarian.
Was he there? He was like
he was with the SCU, so Scorpio Sky and Christopher Daniels. And
and then Scorpio Sky got pied off with Ethan Page, and they went with like Darby Allin. It was just them two, but then Christopher Daniels went off to.
I stopped watching about April. So
what was Kaz then? He was like the, I can't remember what he was called. He's called something Killer, but he was basically like having matches like Kenny Omega and all that, and wiping.
He was Legend Killer.
It might have been Legend Killer.
Was it?
But
Who's
a legend in AEW except for Chris Jericho? Everyone else are just two bobs. Do you know what I mean? It's just, Chris Jericho. That's it. That's as far as it goes. Because he said something, not because he won anything. I don't want anything else to do with him. He's a little bit of the bubbly, and that was it. You know, that's as far as I go with AEW. I've not bothered with anything else. Like, what's he going to do? Like wrestle Orange Cassidy or something? Ugh.
Yeah.
I mean, do you know the problem I've got with the problem I've got with Chris Jericho is he's completely forgotten about International Chest Day. His chest has gone from being an absolute beast to concave. But anyway,
the Elite Hunter, that was it, because he was going through the Elite. He was going through like the young fucks, Kenny Omega, Cody Chodes.
He was going after Generation Me.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he was making them relevant.
The young fucks, the
young
not
cunts.
So young, the not so young cunts. Yeah. Anyway, they're rubbish.
Fuck them.
Fuck them. Anyway, this Thursday on Impact, boys, we've got a TNA International title match. Steve Maclin versus Mance Warner versus Jake Something. Steve Maclin. That's going to be a cracking match. And your boy Mance Warner, my boy Steve Maclin, Joe's boy Jake Something. I mean, come on.
I want everyone to win that match.
Yeah, I want it to spill over into Slammiversary. I
want Hometown Man to come in and fuck one of them in, getting disqualified.
Yeah.
What's going to happen here, right, is Maclin will pin one of them. Yeah. But the other one's going to say, "Well, you didn't pin me, so we'll have a one-on-one at some."
Yeah,
I think
that'll be cool. Yeah, we'll get Jake Something and Maclin at Slammiversary.
Nah, we'll get Mance Warner.
Yeah,
Mance Warner versus Maclin. It's
Mance is the next champ there, I reckon.
That's what we'll get. Even though we've had it before, we're going to get it again because I think they'll pin something. Yeah, that's what I think, but it might be wrong. Yeah, we'll see. The Elegeance brand versus Harley Hudson and Myla Grace.
Good to see them back.
We're still waiting to find out what that tag team name is going to be. My only problem is that they're going to lose again because obviously the Elegeance brand are champs and they've got to build them up again for Slammiversary, which is a bit of a bitch because I really, really want to see them win a couple of matches. Otherwise, what's the point in being a tag team if you can't win anything? But that's my thoughts on that.
No shame of losing to the best in the division at the moment. So
I just want to see Harley and Myla win something. You know, they've been there a couple of months now and they've not won a match. Either of them as a tag team or singles.
It's kind of like jobbing them out, and I guess they'll put them on their own individual singles runs and that. But like I get what you mean, but it's like what happened with like Zaya Brookside as well. Like she had that thing with Rosemary, and then boom, fell off the edge of the earth again. And where is Rosemary? Have we got like too many stars again? Are we just missing people out for a few weeks?
Again. Take care, Eric. Nice, thanks for joining us.
Cheers, man.
We've also got Cedric Alexander, and the Great Hands. Like, it's so funny. I looked at that the other day. I was like, Cedric Alexander the Great. Hands. Alexander the Great Hands.
Yeah.
Anyway, versus Mustafa Ali and his Secret Service, which is they're not putting anybody up for this Secret Service.
Yeah.
They didn't even put like a random people. So this is why I think there's something coming in. There's somebody significant or people that we're not expecting to take on that Secret Service role. But
Mustafa Ali knows people.
Of course he does.
What was the I'm really bad at remembering some of the names. It was a knockout. Well, she used to be a knockout. She used to be. I think she started off in the Dollhouse, and then she went.
Marty Bell.
No, the one with blue hair.
Mia Yim.
Mia Yim. She had links with him.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he might call up Mia Yim to go against Tasha Steelz.
Yeah, that would be cool. We love a bit of Mia Yim. She was amazing.
Yes, she's fantastic.
That blue versus red. Oh yeah. That was great. Anyway, the red car and the blue car had a race. Indi Hartwell versus Victoria Crawford. I got a funny feeling this Victoria Crawford must be signed. She's getting a lot of TV time.
Yeah, I think she's signed now. It's great.
I can't stand her.
Really, I think she's great. I got a lot of time for her.
I cringe when I see her.
Why?
I won't lie as well, and it might be a bit tongue in cheek sort of thing, but I thought that she was a token talent to put next to Tessa to stop the chance.
Really? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow! I never even thought about that.
No,
that never even crossed my mind.
No, I shouldn't say that sort of thing. I've got nothing to base it. I'm just throwing it out there. It's imaginary. It's kayfabe. Do you know what I mean? But I just thought, hang on, it just looked like a kind of like, we'll give you like a 3-month or like a per appearance contract to just like kind of soften this down, and then because we haven't had any chance since. But I thought she would. I was hoping that Crawford was going to fuck off with Sarah Stone.
Barry thought the same. Look.
Yeah.
I never even crossed my mind, but why not?
Yeah.
There you go. Look, see, she's there to stand by Tessa and not get heat. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe they're right. Maybe because you're right. A lot of those chances have stopped, haven't they?
Yeah. For now.
It's maybe as soon as Victoria goes, it'll come back again. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. But anyway, she's going to have Tessa in her corner for the match, so we'll see. We're also going to get an exclusive interview with Joe Hendry.
It's going to be interesting to see.
So I'm assuming that next week we're going to get one with Mike Santana. Or did we get one? No, we didn't. Get one.
We've got a good vignette with Mike Santana. He's really good at them.
Yeah.
Oh, he is. He is good. He's really good. But then how many takes does he need? I don't know. There's me being... Yeah, no, I don't know. Should be interesting. They do work well together. Could be a tag team, but they have been tagging together, Norris. But yeah, you're right. They might be able to be a tag team in the future. We then got KO champ Masha Slamovich and the love of my life, Laying Lee versus NXT champ Jacy, Jayne and Fallon Henley. I don't know too much about Fallon Henley. Obviously, we've seen a bit of Jacy, Jayne. Could be good. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I think it will be good. I think it probably will be, even though, according to you, Ling Lee is slow and
mate. The spots and stuff like that. I'm like, come on. She's like a good second slower and stuff like that. It's hard to watch her have to be carried through the matches.
Oh, shut up!
She's knackered by the time she's done her entrance and that.
What are you talking about?
Mate, honest, go back and have a look. Like, I know the thing is you missed a couple seconds because you pause it when she's bent over and in those funny positions. But but no, I don't know. Like, I think that there's better. We've definitely got better knockouts out there.
Okay. I'm going to disagree. I think she's amazing.
I want one of those two girls that you said got signed and keep losing. I want both of them to beat her.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. I find that I'm torn now.
See?
I'm torn. I'm torn. The Hardys and the Rascals versus the Nemeths, and of course, First Class. I'm assuming that's going to be the main event.
Pardon me.
On paper, I think that's going to be really, really good. What do you think?
It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a banger, this match. I'm really looking forward to this.
Okay.
Hardys
And
and
what
the
about?
Rascals, though. Like, do you reckon they're going to do the face paint and stuff?
Oh, that'll be
I
cool.
reckon they will. Can you imagine?
I know Trey's really bummed he can't be in this match. I do feel so sorry for him not being able to.
But again,
Yeah.
that match is obviously Myron Reed, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
You know, so
Or hometown man, he might be a rascal.
You know what? Hometown Man would be a great rascal. Let's
I
bring him
reckon.
in.
Actually, do you reckon?
bring him up to the treehouse to see what he does.
He might
Yeah.
be Troy Miguel, you know.
He could be.
Troy Miguel's
hometown.
injured, but he comes out as hometown man. It'd just be a bit too, be a bit too soft.
You think? I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm down with it. I like that idea. I still think it's Kevin Nash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I do.
Yeah.
I think he's got all the features. He's about the same height. He's got the same body frame.
Oh, no, it's Mike Tenay. It's got to be Mike Tenay.
Oh right, yeah, you're
Hall
right,
of
you're right.
Famer Mike Tenay.
Yeah, might be. Hey, Gibster, you're a bit late, dude. It's like 7:30.
You can
Come
watch
on,
it back.
dude.
You can
Yeah,
listen to it on Spotify.
Don't worry, I've put the link to this one on the other two that failed to load properly or whatever. So anyone that does check out the other videos will get the link to this podcast. I'm just
Okay, good man. Appreciate it. Okay, I think that's all we got time for this week. We've been going for a good hour and a half, so that's all we got time for this week. I mean, obviously next week.
Well, about an hour and 20 minutes here and about 15 minutes in 2 different videos elsewhere, trying to figure out what the hell was going on.
That's true. That's true.
I stepped into the void, guys. I do apologise again.
Oh my god, I didn't know what the hell was going on. And then
I missed something clearly.
Yeah, mate, it was.
Oh,
it was
go
all
and
going
look on
perfect.
YouTube and look at the first 2 videos. You'll see the complete chaos.
I clicked the link
Oh,
they emailed me. I was like, this is just an advert. What's going on?
It was crazy. It was crazy. But anyway, it's all we got time for, I'm afraid. I'm sorry. That's it. That's all we got time for. So we need to move on. Also, if you want to show your support for TNI-UK, please feel free to super sticker us or head over to prowrestlingtees.com/Total Nonstop Impact for some great shirts, or head over to our exclusive Spreadshirt merch store. Links, of course, are below. I can't wait to start talking about bisonbydesign.com.
Yes.
But anyway,
had another sneak peek at the stuff he's doing, guys. It's looking
Some
incredible.
lovely thongs.
no, I don't. I'm not doing thongs.
Not yet.
Why
However,
not?
I might do at some point. I was working on a potential female line earlier.
Yeah.
So wait and see. So Alicia, Courtney, seriously,
Send it to Lei Ying Lee. See if she'll wear it for you.
that would be amazing. That would be amazing. It would. It's all right, Gibster. I was only messing with you, buddy. I was only messing. But guys, listen, we do appreciate it. We really, really do, because it does help us keep the podcast going, and obviously, keeps us interested. To be fair,
Yeah. Thanks for sticking around for all the technical issues too. I do appreciate you guys giving us a thumbs up that you'll still be here waiting for us while we figure out what the hell is going on.
It was going crazy. It was mad. Joe's going, well, I don't understand what the problem is. And I'm like, I just keep hearing the soundtrack again. It keeps going and going and going. Oh, my God. Anyway,
It is a good soundtrack.
It is a good soundtrack. All TNI shows are also available to all of you listening on the Go fans via audio only on SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, wherever you listen to your favourite shows. Where can we find you, Joe, on the socials?
You can follow me on Twitter at JOK_Empty_Space. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Look for #EmptySpace, #Into the Void, or if you fancy to secure your taste with and your sense of humor, #Daily Giggle. But approach the never mind, you just might keep your sanity.
Sanity. What about yourself, Craig?
I'm pretty much LimpstarUK, as it says on that little blue thing there. If you're watching, LimpstarUK, all is one word. That on Facebook, on Instagram, on my SoundCloud's just Limpstar. I have got X, but like I'm Network Stooge on there, and I haven't logged in there for months. I'm sure it's still active, but yeah, any follows or anything like that, I'll always follow back in that. But yeah, I'm about. I'm just so damn busy.
So damn, it's because you are a multi-talented international DJ.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, international. I can't even get out of my region at the minute. I'm just too busy with it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You say that, mate, but you've literally just come back from Holland.
I mean, yeah, it was worth it. It was worth
Yeah,
it. But
there you
like,
go.
yeah, I just need to. Like, it's only an hour difference, and I swear I'm still jet lagged.
That makes you international, mate.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, yeah, it's
Don't
not around
knock
the
it.
corner, is it?
Don't knock it.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
There you go. We're all good. So if you're interested in finding out a little bit more on TNI itself, you can find us on all the socials at We Talk Impact. Please give us a follow. Let us know. Let the TNA fans know. All the fans that you know of TNA, let them know about TNI. We are the best TNA related podcast channel on the planet, guys. Everyone needs to know about us, especially if they're new to TNA. They need to know about us, and it's important. You need to let everybody know. If you want to find out more about the Bison, you'll find me on the Twitter sphere. I still call it Twitter sphere, on the X. At Lord Bison 45, of course, on the TikTok at Bison by Design, and of course very soon with his own clothing brand. So make sure you keep your eye open on that as well. But guys, listen, please take the time to help us out moving up the rankings on YouTube by giving us a thumbs up. And if you're new to us and you like what you see, then please consider hitting that subscribe button, and don't forget to give the bell a tickle, a squeeze, and of course a smash to never miss any of the great TNA related content coming out each and every single week, not only from us, of course, from the US team as well. Guys, as I've said, I have been your host, Bison. They have been, of course, the Joker and the Limpster this week, and this has been episode 238 of Impacted. Take care, everyone.
Take care, guys. Much love to the TNI tribe. We'll see you next week.